To define what trigonometry is. Trigonometry is actually two words that are put together. The first word is trigon, okay? The second word is metron or metry. Okay, trigon, does somebody think they know what trigon means? Triangle. Triangle, three of something. So basically be a triangle. What do you think metry or metron means? Measurement. Okay, so when we think about it, root words, triangle, measurement. And so it's the study of the relationship among the angles and sides of triangles. That's what trigonometry is. Okay, and so a trigonometric ratio is a ratio. What's another word for ratio?
Fraction.
Fraction, good. It's a fraction that compares the side lengths of two sides of a right triangle. Keyword here, right triangle. So all the problems we're dealing with today will be right triangles. Okay, the stuff we're doing today you cannot do with the normal triangle. It has to be a right triangle. And so we're going to talk about the trigonometric ratios. There are three of them. Okay, they are sine, cosine, and tangent. Those are the three trig functions. So write those down, sine, cosine, and tangent. Now on your calculator, you've probably got three buttons that you maybe never knew what they were. And those three buttons are SIN, COS, and TAN. So you're going to learn a little bit about those three buttons today. Now first of all, before we progress any further, whenever you do this, you need to make sure you are in degree mode on your calculator. Degree mode should be somewhere up on the top. It should say DEG somewhere. Okay? Does anybody not have the DEG? You might have RAD or GRA.
DRG.
DRG, that's fine. Okay? So you should have a DRG somewhere, and if not, we'll go ahead and make sure you're in the right mode. DEG, that's perfect. Okay? And so you should be in DEG mode somewhere. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and get going. All right, so real quick, we're going to talk a little bit about this. So notice I have a right triangle, correct? And if you notice here, I'm referring to angle C, which is this angle right here. So whenever I get a right triangle, I'm going to label sides. Now the side opposite the right angle is always the hypotenuse. So that's always the first side you label. It's the side opposite, oops, I don't want to do that, I wanted the right, sorry. It's the side opposite the right angle. Okay, the hypotenuse is always the longest side. Now notice my other two words, opposite and adjacent. If I'm referring to angle C, what side would be opposite angle C? The side, which one, the vertical or the horizontal? Vertical, you're right. So this is opposite because notice it's opposite the angle. Adjacent is the side that always touches the angle. Now that changes depending on what angle you're looking at. So if I were you, I would make sure you write this down because now we're going to get to what sine, cosine, and tangent are. Sine is defined as whatever the opposite side is divided by whatever the hypotenuse is. Cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, and tangent is the opposite over the adjacent. Get those ratios, those fractions down, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how you can remember those. Okay, now there's a nifty little anagram. Maybe anagram's not the right word for it. Acronym, there we go. I know it started with an A. Okay, that you can use to figure out what sides you put where. and that's called SOHCAHTOA. You've probably heard this somewhere just in passing. Okay, but SOHCAHTOA, if you notice, the S stands for sine. The O stands for opposite, the H stands for hypotenuse. So that's your first trig ratio. Okay. C stands for what? A stands for? H stands for? Good. T stands for tangent. There we go. O stands for? A stands for? So that's a way that you can remember those ratios. You need to file those away to memory. Okay, this will be something that you even encounter on the ACT. So let's go ahead. Oh, let's go back there. Find the values of the 3 trig ratios for angle A. Okay, find the values for the 3 trig ratios for angle A. So this is angle A, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I need to do now is label sides. What's the very first side I label? Hypotenuse. Which side is the hypotenuse? 15. So there's your hypotenuse. I highly encourage you to do this, because it's going to make things a lot easier if you label the sides. Now we have the 2 other remaining sides. What are the 2 remaining sides I need to label? Adjacent and the opposite. Which one is the 9? 9 is the opposite. Very good. And so that means the blank one here is the adjacent. Now, how can I find that blank side? Using the Pythagorean theorem. So real quick, we're going to go through and use the Pythagorean theorem. Pythagorean theorem states that 9 squared plus, we'll call that x squared, equals 15 squared. Okay. So what is 9 squared, folks? 81 plus x squared equals what? 225. I want you to solve that equation for x and tell me what x equals. 12. So here we go. So now I have the 3 trig functions, right? I have to know what sine is. So I'm going to put sine of A. I have cosine of A, and what's the other one? Tangent of A. Now let's review again. Sine is what over what? Opposite over hypotenuse. What's your opposite side in that one? What's your hypotenuse? There you go. That's all you do. No, I don't want you to reduce them now because I want to make sure that you're getting the ratios in the correct form. What about cosine? Cosine is what over what? Adjacent over hypotenuse. So if you have them labeled, it makes your life a lot easier because you can see adjacent is 12, hypotenuse is 15. Okay, what about tangent?
Opposite over adjacent.
Which is 9 over 12. Very good. So that's all you're doing. Think you can handle that? No, I do not want you to reduce them. I want you to leave them as they are. Okay, oops, I'm skipping. Let's go back to this one. Okay, so we have a right triangle. I have sides, 77, 36, and 85. Very first thing is to do what? Label. What side is the 85? Okay. Hypotenuse. What side is the 77?
Adjacent?
You don't know because you don't know the angle. Okay? This is the angle we're dealing with, A. So what side is 77 now? Adjacent. Very good. What side is 36? Opposite. So I need to do sine, cosine, and tangent. So what is the sine of A? 36 over 85. Okay, that group back there, I heard a lot from you. So I want you to tell me what the cosine is. Good. Okay, this group up here, what's the tangent?
36 over 74.
Perfect. So you think you can handle this? Pretty straightforward. So now, I think I have one more that I'm going to want you to do fairly quick. I want you to do A. Here's A. So I want you to go through. You need to find the sine of A. You need to find the cosine of A. And you need to find the tangent of A. First thing I would start with is label in your sides. All right, that group back there. You got sign for me? 24 over 25. Now, for those of you that are wondering, if you had 7 over 25, you didn't label correctly. Okay, 25 is your hypotenuse. It's the longest side, and it's the side opposite the right angle. 24 is your opposite side because it is the side opposite angle A. That group back there, what do you got for cosine?
7 over 25.
7 over 25. That group over there, what do you got for tangent? 24 over 7. Good. Questions on that? Think you can identify sine, cosine, and tangent? Alrighty. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use a calculator to find the value of each trigonometric ratio to the nearest 10,000. So let's figure out 10,000. Here's your decimal spot, right? What position is this? So how many decimal places is 10,000? 4 decimal places. Okay, so we're looking for 4 decimal places. So now with your calculator, depending on the one that you have, if you have one like this, like Ethan's got, okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to actually do this in reverse. So you're going to type in 37, and then you're going to hit the button that looks like this. If you have one of the ones that I have here, okay, you're going to type it in exactly as you see it. You're going to do this, and then you're going to type in 37. Okay? Maddie, you're going to type in that. You're going to do that as well. You'll just do sine of 37. You do not need to put the degree symbol. Okay? You do not need to put the degree symbol. It's just sine of 37. And so we're going to see and make sure that everybody's on the same page. Your answer should be between -1 and +1. Okay? What did you get?
0.6018.
Is there anybody that did not get 0.6018? Because if you didn't, we got to have your calculator, we got to figure it out. Okay? Computer rating, that's the problem. So, okay, so with that in mind, what I want you to do, okay, while I fix Maddie's, I want you to go ahead and do this one for me. When you get done, type it in on your expression. Yep. Yes, this one is cosine. When you see COS, that means the cosine button. So cosine of 23. So let's type in and see what you all got. So go ahead and enter it in on your expression. Okay, and we'll see. Did you type it in? Okay. Go ahead and we'll see how y'all did, and we'll try some more. And the answer is 0.9205. Okay? So this one, I'm guessing that those of you that had the 0.3907 probably used sine.
Yeah, we did.
Okay?
But then I
So let's go ahead and look at another one. Tangent of 14. Okay? Tangent of 14. Tangent of 14. And the answer is 0.2493. Okay? Because one of them is 0.2493, somebody else put 0.2493. Okay? Now notice it says to the nearest 10,000. So on a test, if you give me that bottom answer, I'm not going to give you full credit. And last but not least, cosine of 82. Okay? Cosine of 82. Now tomorrow we're going to continue with this trig stuff. We're just going to go ahead and learn how you can actually solve the triangles if you have an unknown side. Okay, answer 0.1392. Okay, make sure that you're rounding correctly. That's the biggest thing. Okay, make sure that you are rounding correctly. Okay, so here you go. You need to do for me on page 660, 18 through 28, and 36 through 41.